In the news tonight,
these attackers emerged from the bush and attacked them.
Policeman hacked and killed in Luwero by unknown assailants. 2 guns stolen. 1 person allegedly killed as police fired tear gas to quell riots in Jinja City. Candidates continue to drum up support ahead of election day. And in sports, the latest from Birmingham ahead of the Commonwealth Games. A very good evening to you. It is a pleasure to be back on your screens. This is CTV PM Edition with me, Melissa Mboha, and Isaac Luchamuzi on Sign Language. In our top story tonight, policemen in Luwero district have today been attacked and hacked by unknown assailants who also managed to walk away with 2 guns and are still on the run as police continues to investigate the matter. One of the policemen, identified as Ronald Busije, has been confirmed dead from the incident. The details.
The incident are reported to have taken place in the morning in Chumpa village in Luwero district, where traffic policemen had set up a roadblock. It is reported that unknown people who were in the vehicle stepped out with the machetes and immediately attacked the policemen, hacking them and killing 1 on the spot. In a linked audio recording, an officer can be heard calling out for aid.
Traffic. We are attacked by people in civilian attire with pangas. They have killed 1 policeman at the checkpoint. We need rescued. Guns are being taken. Me, I'm communicating from the bush. I removed the uniforms and left it on the roadside.
The attacked officers have been identified as Ronald Businje, a police constable who died on spot, and Joseph Twinamasko, who was rushed to hospital.
We've deployed joint forces and we are conducting an operation. So people should not fear. In case one has information, should one avail information to police.
According to Ignatius Atungo, the police command of Savannah region, the assailants managed to make off the 2 guns and that investigations into the matter have already started.
These attackers emerged from the bush and attacked them. We are conducting an operation to ensure that we're going to do everything it takes to ensure that we arrest the attackers. We shall not leave any stone unturned.
Police have since condoned off the scene of the crime and are looking for clues which may lead them to the perpetrators of the crime. Sarah Nakandi for CTV PM Edition.
Quite an unfortunate tragedy there. Moving on, President Yoweri Museveni has continued to blame the skyrocketing price of fuel on some greedy European countries who are not feeling sorry for the people of Africa in this current economic crisis. The head of state has also pledged to speak to the nation this week on the same issue. Take a look.
By midday, the national chairman of the ruling party, President Yoweri Museveni, had made his way to St. Chizito Technical Institute field in Soroti district to campaign for NRM's Herbert Edmond Ariko, the NRM flag bearer, in the Soroti City East by-election on the last day of the campaigns ahead of the election. The meeting was attended by several party dignitaries, including NRM Secretary General Richard Todong, Vice President Jessica Alupo, several cabinet ministers, among others. In his speech, the NRM Vice Chairperson Eastern Region Captain Mike Mukula revealed that Soroti City is still an NRM stronghold despite the challenges.
Your Excellency, continue to work with this young man Ariko, and I want to assure you, Your Excellency, the future of Soroti City, working together with a leader who can connect directly to you, will be a change that Soroti deserves.
In his speech, President Museveni spoke out on the increase of fuel prices, an issue he says has been brought on by the greedy European countries.
For us, we are saying it's so embarrassing that with this petrol, because it has gone up and we know why, We know that it is because, okay, there's war in Ukraine, that it has added, but even before the war, it was already going down. And it was going up because people are no longer are going to abandon petroleum in 20 years' time.
The president also revealed that he will be addressing the nation again on Wednesday, revealing his new solutions to the problems.
On Wednesday, I will talk more about that. So all this shows you that really when you go for politics, it's not about Rico, about Museveni.
Museveni also urged parents to take their children to school in a bid to increase literacy.
Let that money come from the government. Let the children study free. That's my position. If money, we need more money. We can reduce money on other things, salaries, but we support the children to study free.
According to the president, the people of eastern Uganda, especially in Soroti, should appreciate and embrace the parish development model to fight poverty. The president also handed over a flag to Herbert Edmond Ariko and urged the people of Soroti to vote for him.
Security has today been beefed up in the city following reports of plans to hold countrywide protests against the hiking prices of essential commodities. According to police, some local leaders in Kawempe division have been arrested for allegedly mobilizing the youth to participate in the nationwide protests. Take a look.
For several days, reports have been circulating on social media, mobilizing people to take part in protests against the escalating prices of essential commodities and fuel, codenamed Kunga. The threats were also not taken lightly by the security operatives, who today decided to deploy heavily in the different suburbs of Kampala. Police were seen pitching camp in the city center, while others were on foot patrols, inspecting different streets and giving security to those who managed to turn up for work. Police publicity Fred Enanga says the situation in most parts of Kampala were normal.
The whole of yesterday, we kept on monitoring different territorial areas, and we want to inform the country that there are no untoward incidents. The security situation still remains calm.
By the calm demeanor in many parts of the city, the police says that they have managed to arrest some local politicians who are trying to mobilize people to protest, especially in Kawempe division.
Yesterday in Kawempe, there were attempts by the councillor representing Kawempe 2, that is Senono Dennis, also known as Den City, together with Freddy Nyazi Sentamu, Emmanuel Serunjoji, the mayor Kawempe, Muhammad Nsubuga, councillor of Makerere Parish 3, Thomas, the councillor of Wandegea, that is Wagonza Thomas, together with Kemigisha Sharon. They were trying to mobilize residents within Kawempe division, shopkeepers not to dare open their businesses. So we managed to conduct some arrests, and we also impounded some motorcycles that were being used.
According to Kampala City Trade Association Kasita, although majority of the traders in Kampala turned up, some chose to close shop and stay home.
What I would like to say, government should be privy of what is happening, because whenever someone is hard placed, or when Ugandans find themselves between the rock and hard place, this kind of message can always take the day if nothing is done in the immediate or in the intermediate. Therefore, we are calling upon government as Kasita. As an institution, we are yet to join the bandwagon of the sentiments about high-rising cost of living, high rising commodity prices and fuel prices.
The leaders want government to also find a solution to the skyrocketing prices of fuel and commodities.
But we are imploring government to sit on a round table and find the best solution for what is happening. Otherwise, if a kilo of maize flour is costing 4,000 Uganda shillings, that is nearly $1 point. That is also unprecedented. When we have a combination of fuel and US dollar rising, that shows the kind of inflation we are facing as a country, which needs urgent attention by government. If nothing is done, we might find what we call social media propaganda getting out of hand.
Uganda continues to grapple with challenges such as increase in the prices of essential commodities. Well, last week, while addressing journalists on the state of affairs, the president attributed the rise in commodity prices and fuel to the war in Ukraine. Safi, Mokile Baluku and Chris, Samale Musemakula for CTV, PM Edition.
Members of Parliament have accused government of neglecting the agriculture sector, an issue that has led to the current famine and drought crisis that is spreading across the country. According to the legislators, ordinary farmers need to be equipped with what they need to produce food to help avert the crisis. Ramson Muhairwe has more.
Despite the fact that Uganda is endowed by nature with favorable climate for farming, fertile soils, water bodies and sources among others, hunger continues to be a nightmare for many, with a number of people succumbing to it. Reports of food shortage have been registered in different parts of the country, attributed to drought, an issue that members of parliament are now reacting to.
2021 we had a general election. Most farmers got lost into the election because they wanted a better president. And yeah, they saw it, but then as we were electing a better president, people left farming.
Our harvest is not predictable. It's entirely dependent on rain with the probabilities.
Then we are given maize here, we went, gave it to the people, and the maize dried up. We came back and gave them feedback that the maize they had given us was a good breed, but it could not work because the climate had changed. We also told them the inputs are so expensive, and they did not mind.
It is estimated 69% of Uganda's population is engaged in agriculture. Many of the people who are involved in agriculture production are doing it on a subsistence level. Members of parliament want these farmers to be empowered.
One would have thought, why can't we equip our farmers? We get them tractors. Let's go into commercial farming. We get them improved seeds. We get them pesticides. After equipping them with all those elements, then we train them into better farming. It's done in Kenya, it's done in Tanzania. Why can't we do it?
Government has in the past established silos in different parts of the country to facilitate food storage to respond to food shortage. Legislators say that silos have been rendered useless.
Do you know what's happening to these storage facilities? It's a home for the birds now. It's a home for the rats. It's a home for every kind of thing you would imagine to happen in. But this was a storage for what? For food.
But currently what we are producing is not even enough for us to feed on. So much as you put up granaries, what are you going to stock in it? Let the focus be on production first.
It is important that government sits down and cuts taxes on food. Today, it is okay for government to say that they have cut the price of flour by half. Take off all the prices. Sit down with the people that are with the factories of flour and then they take off the taxes, the licenses that need to be, such that at least food is available.
Climate change has seen seasons change. The president has on several occasions advocated for irrigation to curb dependence on natural factors. Calls members of parliament say have fallen on deaf ears.
We may ignore to prioritize some of these sectors, but in the end they cost us a lot. And one of the areas that the country should begin to realize is that natural weather is no longer reliable. We need irrigation as a means to counter the unfavorable situations.
Recent efforts saw government deliver food relief to the affected areas. This comes as a short-term solution to the problem of hunger that is currently gripping the whole nation. Ramson Mhire, CTV PM Edition.
Thank you, Ramson, for that report. Taxi drivers are protesting against the current fuel crisis. We bring you this story and more after the break. Welcome back to CTV PM Edition with me, Melissa Mboha, and Isaac Luchamuzi on sign language. Moving on, members of the Democratic Party have today revealed that they're going to kickstart the process of collecting signatures around the country to compel the Secretary General of the party, Gerald Siranda, to hold a delegates conference. The party members are still enraged with the decision of the party president, Norbert Mau's agreement with the ruling National Resistance Movement. The details.
I wanted to petition the Secretary General to call a National Council meeting where we shall discuss these issues, because we are so disappointed that the President went into an agreement, and a written agreement, without consulting the National Council, without consulting the the executive. He didn't do so.
DP is a wide party. DP belongs to many Ugandans. We cannot allow a president, a single person, to go and act on our behalf. You cannot take an entity to enter an agreement, you as a person. This constitution is very clear of the Democratic Party. It only allows him to make a statement on something which is simple, and then he goes back to NEC and inform the NEC.
If the request is made, a petition is sent to the Secretary General, and the Secretary General does not comply, then it will have opened doors for members of the Democratic Party to take action by filing a suit in courts of law, because the law should not reign in vain. The interpretation of judicial officer will be called for.
The Prime Minister, Robina Nabanja, has rallied women in Soroti City to embrace the parish development model in a bid to increase their household incomes. Nabanja, who is in Soroti campaigning for the NRM candidate Herbert Edmund Ariko, made these remarks while meeting the women of Soroti East constituency.
According to Prime Minister Robina Nabanja, who is currently in Soroti City campaigning for the NRM flag bearer Herbert Edmund Ariko ahead of the Soroti City East constituency by-election, the women need to elect a leader who can connect them to the government in power to address the challenges they face.
A woman will look after his child. Omukazi alabirira omwana oba ali mu mbeera ki oba ali mu mbeera ki. Ekyo kyekitiibwa. Bwe mutulaba wano nga mulowooza oba abo batandika batya. For me, my mother, bannange, I love my mother because my mother was a Kabalagala Sera.
Nabanja also told the people of Soroti City to stop complaining about being left behind in government programs because they have been making the wrong choices when it comes to electing people. Other leaders from the NRM in eastern Uganda also joined the Prime Minister to campaign for the NRM flag bearer.
Ni muronde ariko niyo nabarakhuburu kyalulayi sebenarume nabanjare repando arere kamabati inyomube bulayi mwawulire.
When they are dividing that money, kama wanagawana hiyo pesa ngapi naenda Soroti, pesa ngapi naenda kwa hospital, pesa ngapi nakuja kwa maji, pesa ngapi naenda kulipa wafanyakazi, wanatangulia kukaa kwa caucus.
At the member of parliament they are going to vote who is none other than Ariko will work with you to develop this area, because without you there is no MP who can be able to work for his constituency.
Some of the NRM supporters have vowed to turn up in numbers.
Kama muna shida yoyote mwenye muna face kwa government ya NRM, leo ndio siku mwenye mnafaa kuambia mama ati kitu mwenye namba sisi wengine kubaki kwa opposition ndio kitu fulani na fulani na fulani.
Our Juakali is sincerely speaking the name of God. We're bound of the NRM. Just a few people who are just calling our name for Juakali.
Artisan workers, commonly known as the Juakali in Soroti, led by their chairperson Hassan Chiza, want government to also run to the aid.
A person without a hope, I don't think whether that's the person.
That's the point.
So we have been existing, but without a hope, without an identity, but doing a great work for this nation. But nobody realizes us. They have been collecting taxes from us, but nobody knows our usefulness.
President Yoweri Museveni is expected in Soroti today to drum up support for the NRM candidate, Herbert Edmund Ariko, who is running against FDC's Moses Zatan. Hope Nyongereza, CTV, PM Edition.
Switching to matters health, government through the Ministry of Health has today revealed that it will commence with plans to refurbish Busolwe Hospital in eastern Uganda. The Ministry of Health through the Permanent Secretary, Dr. Diana Atwine, today signed a contract with Excel Contractors to kickstart the process.
So completed, but the funder preferred to have it in series. We finish one and we go to another one. As we are planning to also to commence, the COVID came because the designs of this hospital were supposed to be undertaken by the Spanish consultants as part of our agreement. However, they could not come in time because of COVID. So in the last 2 years, it really set us back, and that's why it was not possible to have this hospital renovated in time. And so I'm glad that today, as per contracting is complete, we are going to sign the contract. And this contract is worth $7,367,822 US. That is the original. And the scope of work is going to be, we are going to renovate the wards that are there. We are going to do more extension. The new, we are adding additional waterworks, the sewage, the generator house.
Work starts on in the first week of September, ideally about 30 days from the date of signing, which would be today, to end of August, kind of. Once we take over the site together from jointly from receiving it from the ministry.
PM Edition returns shortly with more stories after the break. You are still watching PM Edition with me, Melissa Mboha, and Isaac Ruchamuzi on Side Language. In the world of sports, it is 3 days to the 2022 Commonwealth Games in Birmingham. The largest contingent of Team Uganda, led by the She Cranes and the Rugby Cranes, is already in the host city. Clive Cheze, who is in the United Kingdom, joins us now.
The Commonwealth Update, brought to you by Ababate.
Yes, thank you very much, Melissa. It is exactly 3 days to the 2022 Commonwealth Games that will be held in Birmingham, and the opening ceremony is slated for this Thursday. As we speak at the moment, the first batch of Team Uganda did arrive at the Games Village, but also we've just got the news that the second batch of Team Uganda also arrived in the Games Village. And there was a party to officially welcome them before they go through the accreditation process, the COVID-19 tests before everyone can be shown where they can stay. Of course, Uganda at these games will be represented by 75 athletes in 11 different disciplines. Those include rugby. Of course, the rugby team will be captained by Michael Okorach. Then you also have the She Cranes. That's the national netball team that will be captained by Peace Proscovia. Those two are also the official captains of Team Uganda. Information that we are also getting is that athletes from badminton, athletes from table tennis, squash, swimming, of course, you talk about wrestling, weightlifting have also already arrived in Birmingham. And you also have athletes that will be doing track events. Of course, that group is led by Joshua Cheptegei. They have been taking part of participating in the World Athletics Championships. The group that also includes Olympic gold medalists, Peroth Chemtai in the 3,000 meter steeplechase, together with Jacob Kiplimo, who will actually be doing a double in Birmingham for the 10,000 and the 5,000. That group will first come back to Uganda from the World Championships before they relocate to Birmingham for the Commonwealth Games. We are waiting to see, by the way, because there is a lot of organization that is going on. Also tomorrow, there is another press briefing where the organizers of these competitions will address the media on different issues here and there, the do's and the don'ts of the competition, but also the athletes are being taken through these before they get into the games village. We are told the apparel, of course, that has been a very, very, very big concern. Team Uganda left Kampala or left Uganda without the official apparel. But speaking to the General Secretary of our National Council of Sports, Bernard Patrick Ogwell, he did confirm that the official kit that was designed by Nike is already in the United Kingdom, or should I say Birmingham, and every athlete that gets into the games village will have their own kit that they will be donning throughout the competition, but most importantly on the opening day of the competition, where the opening ceremony will be happening. Bernard Well also did confirm that every athlete will be getting $2,000 from the government of Uganda, and that money was deposited on their bank accounts today, because they don't want any issues where an athlete says they didn't get their allowance. They don't want any issues where an athlete says an official asked me to give them a bit of my allowance and all that. So at least that is a bit of the update that we are getting out of Team Uganda. Clive Chaze is my name, coming to you all the way from London, and back to you, Melissa, in studio.
The Commonwealth Update, brought to you by Ababate.
Thank you, Clive. We will be looking forward to more updates from you. Moving on, Uganda finished 16th overall with 3 medals at the World Athletics Championship, which lasted 10 days in Oregon in the United States of America. The 2022 World Athletics Championships came to an end this morning.